The story begins in a mine in northern France in 1856, where a miner breaks through a wall and uncovers a massive cave, convinced he has found a vein of new mineral resources. But when he turns to check on his canary, he sees it lying lifeless, and a wave of dread washes over him. As he realizes something is wrong, he calls out to the others, knowing that in the 19th century, Europeans believed canaries brought good luck, and soon the miners summon their boss, who murmurs strange words to something he's holding before lighting a candle and stepping into the cave. A sudden noise makes him look ahead, just in time to glimpse a dark claw, and in shock, he drops the candle and bolts for the exit, but stumbles and falls, the impact triggering a collapse that seals the cave and traps everyone inside. The mine remains closed for a century until it reopens, and on that day a man named Mathieu arrives, hired to conduct deep research. He goes straight to the mine's owner to present his plan, and though the boss is reluctant, Mathieu offers a sum too tempting to refuse. Still, the owner decides to send a few miners along for safety, but not without charging extra. The group enters the elevator unaware they are on a one-way descent. After dropping 930 meters, Mathieu examines his equipment and believes he's found something just below, suggesting they use explosives to reach it. The others are skeptical but follow Roland's lead in setting the charges. And when they detonate, a vast, bottomless abyss yawns open. Panic ripples through the miners, who step back in fear, while Roland wonders what could possibly lie beneath to warrant all this trouble. Mathieu remains vague but insists it's safe and moves ahead. The miners follow into a space whose smooth walls don't look naturally formed, prompting Roland to recall an eerie legend of miners trapped 100 years earlier, whose bodies were never recovered. The thought that the legend might be true unsettles the group, yet Mathieu pushes deeper, alone. By the time the others catch up, he's vanished, and with a fork in the path, Roland chooses to split them, taking Miguel right while Louis and Santini head left, calling Mathieu's name with no reply until Santini freezes at the sight of a dried corpse still bearing a miner's gear, proof the old story was real. Greed drives Louis to rummage through the remains, where he finds an oddly shaped stone and impulsively bites it, only to discover it's just a rock. Amir, meanwhile, notices the walls scrawled with red writing that seem to be the miners' final words. A chill passes through them, and Louis's sudden joke nearly makes them jump out of their skins. Regaining composure, they return to the junction, where Roland has already found Mathieu photographing a wall that apparently hides whatever he came here to find. This time, Roland refuses to blast the wall until he knows what is inside, but Mathieu insists it could be the greatest discovery of all. Roland reluctantly agrees, though they decide it's safer to leave soon after, just in case. As they gather their gear, Mathieu gives the go-ahead and Miguel sets the charges. When the smoke clears, a new chamber emerges before them, shaped like an ancient tomb with strange sculptures scattered around. Tall columns stand near a stone door, behind which lies a mound of skeletons, and at the center, a chilling stone coffin that makes the air feel heavy, as if something inside might stir. Roland urges Mathieu to snap a few quick photos, and they start to retreat, but at the exit, they find Polo has spooked a mining horse, which jerks free and bolts into the darkness as if sensing danger. A sudden collapse follows, and Santini is too slow to avoid it, his legs crushed beneath falling rock. The others drag him out in time, but his injuries are devastating and the collapse has sealed the exit. Trapping them all, Roland rounds on Mathieu, accusing his reckless research of causing this mess. With no choice, they search for another way out. While some tend Santini's wounds, Amir realizes Louis and Polo are missing and hurries back to the tomb chamber, where he finds them preparing to open the coffin, convinced treasure waits inside. Amir warns them to leave, but greed has their attention and Louis even tells him to help. The three strain against the heavy lid, but it won't move until Amir notices a hexagonal slot above the coffin and recalls the odd stone he picked up earlier. Fitting it into place and twisting it, the lid loosens and they heave it open to reveal glittering jewels and relics. But in doing so, they have unleashed something terrible. Amir wants to warn the others, but Louis, unwilling to share, silences him with threats. They split the treasure and turn to leave when a skeletal claw bursts from the coffin and a monstrous figure begins to rise. The two bolt in terror, and Amir, sensing the danger, follows. Just as he catches up, he hears a scream and sees them fleeing. Moments later, the creature overtakes Polo, and by the time the others arrive, his mutilated body hangs grotesquely on the stone wall. The sight freezes them in horror. Roland demands to know what it is, but Berthier has few answers beyond saying the sarcophagus is ancient, that it entombs a god whose followers built this place as its altar. At once, Louis remembers Santini is still alone and injured. The group rushes back only to hear a strange noise ahead. Darkness swallows the passage and they can't see a thing. Reaching for a mining lamp yields nothing useful. So Berthier lifts his camera, the flash captures for an instant a human-like figure approaching, and panic surges. Switching to a second lamp, the next burst of light shows clearly what is coming straight for them. The humanoid creature seizes Santini just as Roland and the others rush back, giving them only a glimpse of it tearing him apart with brutal force before disappearing into the darkness. Irritation flaring before fear seeps back in as they regroup and quickly decide what to do next, Berthier suggesting they return to the tomb room in case the exit is hidden in the ancient inscriptions. Since the builders must have left a way out, all eyes turning to him as their only hope, they retrace their steps, and Berthier begins translating the carvings on the columns, piecing together clues that lead them deeper into the tomb, until they come upon what looks like a prison, though the figures inside are not captives, but sacrifices meant for the monster, the walls naming it the Soul Devourer. A noise breaks the stillness and they push forward only to find the interior eerily mirroring the exterior, though Amir feels as if they've crossed into somewhere else entirely. Bloodstains fresh on the columns leading toward a hole in front of them. Berthier at the lead with a mirror in hand, unaware the blood is from the missing horse. When the others are distracted, he suddenly pulls a lever, and the heavy stone door slams shut, locking them out to protect himself, knowing the escape secret lies here, and that if they figure it out, he won't survive a moment. After all this chaos started because of him and so many miners died. Outside, Roland and the others strain to push the door open, but it's impossibly heavy. While inside, Berthier spots an opening in the stone wall, preparing to leave with Amir, who suddenly notices movement. The horse's carcass shifting and warns him. Neither realizing the monster is hiding within, the body splits open and the creature emerges. But instead of fear, Berthier steps forward speaking strange words until, to everyone's shock, it embraces him. For Berthier, it's a moment of fulfillment. Years of research and obsession, culminating in meeting the being he reveres like a god. Amir sees only horror and turns to flee, finding the switch broken and shouting for help until Roland and the others force the door open. Air rushing in as Amir remembers to snatch up Berthier's dropped notebook because it holds the path out. Unable to hold back, he spills the truth that Berthier caused all of this, but that it was Louis's greed in opening the coffin that doomed them. The jewels in his backpack proof enough despite his denial. Miguel lashes out and punches him before Roland steps in, declaring the treasure belongs to the families of the dead, Louis finally giving in. Amir quickly leads them toward the exit with the notebook in hand. None of them realizing the stone door won't hold the monster for long, he's still scanning Berthier's notes when a sudden noise freezes him in place. Everyone quickly kills the lights, trying to hide from the monster, but Louis scoffs at the idea and switches on his mining lamp only to find the creature looming right beside him. Miguel lunges with a weapon, but the monster slashes his throat and drags Louis into the darkness. Leaving only Roland and Amir alive by sheer luck, they push on toward the exit. Following the notes though, Amir, weighed down by guilt, admits he too helped open the stone coffin. Roland tells him to let it go. The priority is survival. When they reach the location described in the notes, they find no exit at all. Only piles of bones, the miners' remains, and the crushing realization that all their effort was for nothing makes them sink to the floor in despair. Amir throws the notebook in frustration, but Roland retrieves it and notices a hidden detail pointing to a vertical well once used by the followers to toss their offerings. Hope returns as they prepare to climb. But before they can move, the monster yanks Amir into a deep pit. Roland tries to save him, but fails. Now alone and haunted by the loss of his team, he forces himself onward until he reaches a chamber heaped with bones, the exit above within sight. Meanwhile, Amir wakes to find himself alive in a grim cavern. A red glow ahead, drawing him to an even larger space where a bonfire of human bones burns in the center, and the monster sits on a stone throne gripping a barely alive Louis. Amir pleads for Louis's release and asks what it wants. The creature answers in an alien tone Amir can't grasp before casually severing Louis's head. Then advancing as if to speak again, it claims Amir's soul as payment for freeing it from the coffin. Offering in return to make him the next soul devourer, Amir feigns agreement, but when the monster seizes him, he drives a dagger into its body, using its pained thrashing to slip away into a narrow tunnel that leads to the vertical well where Roland is waiting. Roland hauls him up as the monster's roar echoes closer. They scramble upward, Roland planting his last explosives in a crack. The climb grows frantic as the creature begins ascending after them. Roland reaches for the detonator but realizes he left the lever, panic forcing him back down to snatch it just before the monster reaches him. Nerves shaking his hands as he struggles to arm the device, finally leaping back to Amir. The two exchange a grim smile before triggering the blast, the explosion consuming the monster in a thunderous collapse that appears to bury them as well, ending the threat in a final act of defiance.